Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive? This time, we're heading to the Middle East and North Africa, MENA, to check out their incredible tech scene.
It's booming right now.
It really is. And we're going to unpack some of the highlights from the latest edition of the CTO show's MEA Tech and Startup Digest.
Sounds good.
They've got a ton of subscribers, over 2,300 actually.
Wow, yeah, it's a really popular newsletter.
So let's jump right in. Saudi Arabia is like the star of the show this time around, at least when it comes to venture capital.
Yeah.
They just had a record year, closing a whopping 178 venture capital deals.
Seriously?
Yeah, 178 deals in 2024. That's a big chunk of the whole MENA market share,
How much are we talking?
a full 31%.
Wow, that's a huge percentage. What's driving all this activity?
That's a great question. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this.
Well, I think a few things are happening. The region is going through some big changes, really embracing digital technologies and becoming a hub for innovation.
Yeah, I see that.
And Saudi Arabia's government has been pushing hard to create an environment where startups can thrive. They're attracting a lot of foreign investment, too.
It seems like they're really serious about this.
They are. Plus, they have a young population that's really tech-savvy.
Makes sense. They're the ones driving a lot of this demand, right?
Exactly. They're comfortable with technology, they're early adopters, and they're pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
And let's not forget, Saudi Arabia has the financial resources to back all this up.
Right, they definitely have the capital to make these big bets.
Speaking of capital, the report also highlighted e-commerce as a major area attracting investors.
Oh yeah, e-commerce is absolutely booming in Saudi Arabia.
In fact, it's attracting the lion's share of venture capital. A full third of all the money going into the country is going to e-commerce.
It makes sense when you think about how consumer behavior is changing. More and more people are shopping online, embracing digital payments, and demanding seamless online experiences.
It's like the digital economy is becoming an integral part of everyday life there.
Exactly. It's not just a trend anymore, it's the way things are done.
And speaking of capital, there's also been a surge in new funds specifically focused on the MENA region, like 500 Global. They're a big name in venture capital, and they're launching a MENA-focused fund.
I saw that, and they've got some serious backing from Saudi investors.
Yeah, and they're not the only ones. MEVP, another major player, is aiming to raise $150 million for their fourth fund.
And where's that support coming from?
You guessed it, Saudi Arabia.
It seems like everyone's really bullish on MENA's potential.
Definitely. What do you think this influx of capital means for the region's tech scene in the long run?
I think it's going to be huge. I mean, this level of investment is going to fuel a ton of growth.
Yeah, it's not just about the money though, right?
Right. It's also about the signal it sends. Investors are seeing the potential, they're seeing the talent, and they're putting their money where their mouth is. This is going to lead to more startups, more jobs, and a real boost to the economy.
It's exciting to see this kind of momentum building.
It really is.
And it's not just about big picture economics either. There's some really cool startups doing innovative things in the region.
Oh, yeah. There's a ton of creativity and ingenuity happening right now. It's inspiring to see.
Like Rise, this Saudi Arabian company that just got a $35 million Series A funding round.
What are they working on?
They're tackling the housing market with this really interesting rent now, pay later model.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So kind of like what we've seen in other industries, but applied to housing.
Exactly. They're trying to make it easier for people to access housing, especially in a growing economy where coming up with a lump sum for rent can be tough.
I can see how that would be really appealing, especially for younger generations who might not have those big upfront savings.
Right. It's about aligning with how people manage their finances today.
And it's another example of these alternative financing models gaining traction.
Definitely. Then there's Pluto, a fintech company based in the UAE.
Oh, yeah, the UAE. They're really making a name for themselves in the fintech space.
Yeah, they've positioned themselves as a real financial hub. Anyway, Pluto just raised $4.1 million in a pre-Series A round to expand their business.
That's impressive. What are they doing that's so innovative?
They're kind of keeping it under wraps for now, but it's definitely something to watch. Their success is a good indicator of the opportunities in the UAE, though.
For sure. They've got a supportive regulatory environment, a lot of financial institutions, and a culture that embraces technology.
It's like a perfect storm for fintech innovation.
Exactly. And Pluto's success is a signal to other startups that the UAE is a good place to be.
Now, for something completely different, there's Arable, a startup from Saudi Arabia that just raised $2.55 million. They're doing some really interesting work with desert hydroponic farming.
Hydroponics in the desert, that's fascinating. What's the thinking behind that?
It's about tackling food security. A lot of these countries in the region have really arid environments where traditional farming can be a challenge.
Right, water scarcity is a huge issue.
Exactly. So Arable is trying to develop a way to grow food sustainably in the desert, using significantly less water and land than conventional farming.
It's like turning a limitation into an advantage.
Yeah, it's a really creative solution. And then there's Sampo AI, an Omani company that just got $750,000 to boost their e-commerce solutions using AI.
AI is transforming e-commerce everywhere. It's no surprise it's happening in the MENA region too. What are they focusing on? Personalization.
That's a big part of it. Imagine you're browsing an online store, and the system is learning your preferences, making recommendations just for you.
It's like having a personal shopper in your pocket.
Exactly. It's all about creating a more personalized, engaging shopping experience.
And AI can also help with things like optimizing pricing and inventory management, even predicting future demand.
That's a lot of power for businesses.
It is. And for consumers too, it can mean better prices and a more convenient shopping experience. It's a win-win.
So we've got Fintech making housing more accessible, agritech tackling food security, and AI driving e-commerce innovation. It's clear that the NA region is buzzing with entrepreneurial energy, right?
Absolutely. It's like this fertile ground for new ideas and innovative solutions.
And this is just the beginning. We've got a lot more to uncover.
Can't wait to hear what else they're up to.
It's not just about what's happening inside these startups either. They're also making some strategic moves to expand their reach.
Right, like PayMob.
Yeah, PayMob. We talked about them earlier. They just got a license from the UAE Central Bank to operate their payment services there.
Oh, wow. That's a big deal.
It is. It shows that regulators are starting to recognize the potential of digital payment solutions.
And that they're creating a space for these companies to operate.
Exactly. It's a real vote of confidence for PayMob and for the whole fintech sector in the UAE.
What do you think this means for the average person?
I think it could have a huge impact on financial inclusion. More people will have access to digital financial services, especially those who might not have had access to traditional banking.
That's a really important point. It's about leveling the playing field and giving everyone the tools they need to participate in the economy.
Exactly. And then there's further ventures. They're investing $5 million in a crypto exchange platform called GRVT.
Interesting. It seems like crypto is really starting to gain traction in the MENA region.
It is. It's still early days, but we're seeing more investors and entrepreneurs taking notice.
What do you think is driving this interest?
I think it's a few things. Some people see it as a way to hedge against inflation.
Right. Especially in parts of the region where economic stability might be a concern.
Exactly. And others are attracted to the decentralized nature of crypto, the idea of bypassing traditional financial institutions.
It's about giving people more control over their own finances.
Yeah, and then there's the potential for innovation.
Oh yeah, crypto and blockchain can be used to create a whole range of new financial products and services.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on. But it's not all about profits and disruption.
Right. There's a real focus on social impact as well.
Like youth, for instance.
Oh, yeah. Youth, they're doing some amazing work.
They are. They've got this ambitious program to upskill 1 million African youth in digital technologies.
Wow, 1 million. That's a huge undertaking.
It is, but it's so important. Giving young people these skills is crucial for their future success and for the region's overall development.
Absolutely. It's about investing in the next generation and giving them the tools to thrive in a digital world. What kind of skills are they teaching?
All sorts of things. Coding, web development, data analysis, digital marketing, the kind of skills that are in high demand right now.
It's great to see them taking such a holistic approach.
It is. And it's not just about training people for jobs at big tech companies either. It's about giving them the skills to start their own businesses, to be creative, to solve problems.
It's about empowering them to be the drivers of change.
Exactly. And on the investment side, there's Arasia Capital. They're making a big splash in the UAE with their investments.
How many companies have they invested in?
They've made 24 investments in various startups so far.
Wow, that's a lot. They're really committed to supporting the UAE's startup ecosystem.
They are. And it's not just about the money. They're also providing mentorship and guidance to help these companies succeed.
It's like they're not just investors, they're partners in these companies' success.
Right. They're playing a key role in fostering the growth of the UAE's tech scene. So we've covered a lot of ground. We've seen venture capital flowing into Saudi Arabia, the rise of fintech and crypto and agritech solutions, tackling food security. And let's not forget about the CTO show itself. This whole deep dive was sparked by their newsletter. They had some pretty interesting guests on their podcast recently, didn't they?
They did. I was particularly intrigued by Sofia Madviva's story.
Yeah, the founder of Tech for Non-Techies.
That's her.
Her journey is pretty inspiring. She went from feeling intimidated by the tech world to empowering others who felt the same way.
I love her message that you don't need a computer science degree to have a successful career in tech.
It's so true.
It's about finding your niche, being willing to learn, and being open to new opportunities.
And she's a great example of that. She's breaking down barriers and showing that tech is for everyone.
Right. It doesn't matter what your background is, you can be a part of this world.
And what about Ron Ryder? Did you catch his episode?
Oh, yeah, the CTO Center. He had some really interesting insights on data security.
It's such a crucial topic these days. Cybersecurity is more important than ever.
Definitely. And he really emphasized that data security isn't just an IT issue, it's a business issue.
Right. It affects everyone in the organization.
Exactly. And a data breach can be devastating, not just financially, but also in terms of reputation. It's not something to take lightly.
So what was his main message?
He basically said that investing in robust cybersecurity measures up front is essential.
It's like the old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Exactly. It's much better to be proactive than reactive when it comes to cybersecurity.
So we've talked about startups raising millions, individual stories of empowerment, and crucial insights on data security. What do you think is the common thread running through all of this?
I think it's the transformative power of technology.
Yeah.
We're seeing it play out in so many different ways, from driving economic growth to empowering individuals to tackling some of the world's biggest challenges.
And the MENA region is really at the forefront of this.
They are. They're embracing innovation, they're attracting investment, and they're making a real impact.
It's an exciting time to be following the MENA tech scene. And it's not just about being a spectator either.
Right. It's about understanding how these trends might impact your own life, your career, your investments.
Exactly. This stuff is shaping the world around us, and being aware of it can give you a real advantage.
Whether you're an entrepreneur, an investor, or just someone who wants to stay ahead of the curve.
It's been amazing exploring the MENA tech scene with you. So much energy, so much innovation. What's the one thing that really stands out for you from everything we've talked about?
It's hard to pick just one, but I think it's got to be how everything's coming together at the right time. You know, it's not just about the ideas or the money.
Right.
It's the combination of government support, the young population, everyone embracing technology, and all these new business models.
That's a perfect recipe for success.
Oh.
And they're not just copying what's happening elsewhere.
Yeah, totally.
They're creating solutions that work for their unique needs and challenges.
Well,
Like, think about what they're doing with food security.
Exactly.
It's a huge issue in the region, and they're tackling it head on.
using technology to make a real difference.
So what are you most excited about, personally? What do you think is going to really shake things up?
I'm really fascinated by agritech. I mean,
Oh.
we talked about hydroponics, but there's so much more happening, like precision irrigation, vertical farming, all these crazy innovations. They could change how we grow food, not just in MENA, but everywhere.
It's like turning a problem into an opportunity.
Exactly.
And it's not just about the technology itself. It's about using it to make the world a better place.
For sure.
What else are you keeping an eye on?
I'm also really interested in what's happening with Fintech.
Oh, yeah.
All these new financial products and services, empowering people, driving economic growth. It's pretty exciting.
It's about giving people more control over their financial lives. And, you know, who knows what the future holds? Maybe we'll see a MENA-based company become the next big global tech giant.
Wouldn't that be something?
It could happen. The talent is there, the drive is there, and the money's flowing. So to everyone listening, this is just a taste of what's happening in the MENA tech scene.
Yeah, keep exploring. There's so much more to discover.
Maybe you'll even be inspired to be part of it yourself.
Sweet.
That's it for our deep dive today. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.